Hello world. Today I'm doing an interview with the one and only SilentCxbin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that we could do this interview.
Yes, same. Hype.
Hype as hell. Okay, so my first
Yeah, hype.
question, my first question for you. You have music on your main account as far back as a year ago, and your alt account has music from as far back as around 7 months. When did the name SilentCxbin first come into play, and do you remember the first name that you ever used?
Oh, okay. So let's see. Music as far back as a year ago. Yeah. So like I have music on like Silent Cabin as far back as a year. And then my alt accounts that date back like 7 months. If you like in the description of those, I try to put like the actual original date because a lot of those are like 2018, 2017 that like songs that were like up on a up, and then I deleted them and then I posted them on a new account, which is that account. So it's like 7 months ago, but it's like actually like 2018, 2017, even 2019 and 2020, some of them, it just depends on the song. That was just like an old alter, like I would say like my first name I took seriously, but not my first name. And then the name Silent Cabin came into play a little bit before, like maybe like September of 2021, maybe a little bit before then, like August, September, right around then of 2021. I was still going by the name Fuckgruee, which is like the account that has, songs dating back like 7 months, but they weren't like it didn't really feel like me, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like this is just like I started this when I was like that name when I was like 16, and it was originally Grew, but then I added Fuck Grew, and then it was just like a lot of shit that I don't know, it was kind of trash in my opinion, or like angry music, and I was just like not feeling it anymore. I wanted like something that was like this is me. So I like deleted a lot of that shit, but a lot of people was like, like really wanted some of that stuff still up. So that's why the Fuck Grew account got created. That's like up right now. I like I don't use it. I don't post on it. I don't do anything. Like I could care less about that name and everything that comes with it cuz it's just like old. And then my first name, oh my god. I think it was like Polar Bear, no joke, with like 9 R's at the end. I'm not even joking you.
And that dates back to basically when you first started making music. Do you know how long ago that polar bear was active?
Polar Bear was like that was like 2014. That was like my Instagram account, and I would literally take my phone, and I didn't like have a computer or nothing, and I would play like beats on my Xbox, and like turn them up or on like a speaker, you know what I mean, and then like record a video, and then I would I had an Android, like a Samsung, so I had like an app, and I'd convert that video to like a fucking MP3 or a wave, dude, and I'd like go and post that shit on like SoundCloud, because back then you could post from your phone on SoundCloud relatively easily, and that shit was dog water.
Super OG. Did you use like a polar bear themed pictures when you were uploading your songs?
So that goes back to when we were in a video call, and you were like, "I'm gonna have to ask you about this in the interview," and I think you kind of forgot, but I'll bring it up. I used a fucking picture of like an anime guy like masturbating, like coming on a girl's face. It
Oh
was
my god.
no joke. I'm not like the music I used to make was like literally meme music, no
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
And I'll scroll back in my photos and I'll send it for you for the interview to put up on the screen. I had that, like I searched that song on Google one day to show a friend, and it said like 2.2 million on YouTube. Like like in like the Google like search. But like it was taken down off of like all platforms or whatever, not platforms, but like YouTube, SoundCloud, because that was the only place it was
Probably
up.
because of the image even.
Because of the image.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, like,
I'll have to blur it just to put it up on mine, most likely.
I don't even think that you can't even see the image, because it's like if you search something on Google, you know how you'll see all the different websites like results. It's like you'll see one that's like says like the name and then the name of the song, and it says like 2.2 mil. But if you click on it, nothing happens.
Yeah, it's a
like,
dead
this video's
link.
down. Yeah, but it's so fucking funny. I don't, and it wasn't even posted by me on YouTube. I don't know who posted it, the channel or anything. It's all like so dead, but it's hilarious. Like that was like my first, and making music was kind of just like I don't know, I was just like, I had a lot to say, I felt like, I don't know, like, I didn't really talk to, like I was telling, Deathright, you know, like, I didn't really ever have a lot of best friends, so it's just like, making music was an easy, like, form of, like, expressing how I felt, you know? If I was, like, mad, I was making a mad song, if I was, like, happy, I was making a happy song. But now, like, the thing is, like, back then, it was just, like, I don't think it was ever, like, really cohesive, and now I can, like, take all those emotions and still make something very cohesive that's, like, Silent Cabin, you know? And the name Silent Cabin comes from, like, basically just, like, the whole what I just talked about, like, not really, like, talking to people, you know what I mean? Like, antisocialness, you know? Like, I'd rather be, like, far away in, like, a silent, like, peaceful cabin, you know what I mean? Like, 10 acres, no neighbors, like, just fucking farm animals, yeah, like, no joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be the best thing, but, yeah, so
When I think of a cabin, I think of like the first thing that comes to mind is like solace and like peacefulness and like you said, being away from society
Mhm,
and like your own little
exactly.
area.
See, and that goes back into, like, the Fuckgruee shit because I have, like, a EP even named after that, you know what I mean? If you've seen that.
Truly, truly OG shit. Oh yeah.
Yes, like
So speaking of your alt accounts, there's another one of your accounts called DeadAsleep, and
yeah,
it's like a dreamscape lo-fi type of page, and it's like instrumentation. I've noticed lots of
yeah,
instrumentals.
beautiful, yeah.
Do you see yourself posting more on that page and diving deeper into that sound, or is it something that's like played its course to you and you don't really plan on using much anymore?
No, I don't know, like, I really want to. It has nothing to do like, I don't wanna tie it to my, like, who I am as, like, Silent Cabin, but it really came from, like, just, like, doing shrooms for, like, a bunch with my girlfriend, and then fucking doing bunch of weed and listening to bunch of fucking, like, Tame Impala and acid rock, and then I was like and then we were also listening to, Flat Sound and shit like that, and I was like, "Dude, I could literally make something like this," and I'm not even joking to you, you can actually ask my girl. That whole entire tape you hear was made in one night.
That's crazy because there's like multiple genres. It's all really dreamy and like really like atmospheric,
The
but there's so many. It like transcends across the line onto so many genres. That's wild.
Yeah, I was talking about the one tape, you know, that I made for Dead Asleep. It
Yeah,
was, like,
yeah.
made in one night, right? Yeah. She was
How
yeah.
long is that tape?
Like, lengthwise, I forget. I think it's around, like, maybe almost 20 minutes or something. Let me go peep it real quick.
That's
12
crazy.
minutes. 12 minutes, yeah, it was really chill.
Do you remember if it was in one project file?
Yeah, it was actually, 'cause
Oh my
that's
gosh.
yes, it was, 'cause that's like, dude, oh, I wish once I get my laptop battery fixed, I'll definitely, like, show you that one day. It's so cool. Um, it was really also just, like it had a lot to do with that, and then I wanted to see how fucking much I could just manipulate loops, you know what I mean? To, like, no
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Like, I was, like, going crazy on stuff, like and I was, like, throwing in, like, guitar, even though I can't really, like, play the best, like, I was throwing in some, like, guitar shit in there, just, like, background things, like, the the thing, like, in one of the songs, it's I'm pretty sure it's literally just called Cigarette on there, 'cause if you go to the band lab, there's, like, actual individual releases of the songs, which is a little bit better for people, it's 5 tracks, um, and there's a song on there called Cigarette, and that song, like, I'm like, "Cigarette?" And I'm, like, actually asking my girlfriend because she was about to light a cigarette if she wanted to smoke a cigarette, but, like, I was mid-recording that fucking EP, so it's really cool. Just,
Mm,
like, DIY stuff almost, you know?
yeah, coincidental moments
Mm,
that lead up to the music. That's wild.
yeah.
And you spoke just real fast about how people have it's easier for people to listen to singles. One of the questions I had to ask you is like that project in particular was presented on SoundCloud, at least in an album format. Do you have any
Yeah.
opinions on the current single versus album meta and like the focus that singles are currently being pushed onto artists?
I think singles are good if you're looking at it from, like, a quality over quantity aspect. You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, like, I'm gonna just focus on singles because I can make, like, one really good song and then another really good song." The thing that, people don't really look at from, like, I guess, like, a actual, like, a record label what a record label would look for is, like, if you're somebody that has like stacked albums and like you're receiving actually really good like monthly listeners and shit from that, like you have like a one up on this record label. Like, you know, you get to almost like say what you want to happen in that deal, as opposed to them being like, you know, because at that point you've like you're full independent if you want. Like if you look at somebody like Sewer Person who just drops like mass amounts of albums all the time, back to back, and they're like like I mean every song's like great, you know, and it's like, does he just have it calculated? And it's like, why stop? You know what I mean? If you can make really good music every day and all those songs are still good as like as good as the songs that you're gonna make, you know, like once a month, then I mean, fuck it. But also, I think the best form is like do what you find that fits you. Like if it's like short EPs and shit. But the thing is also like nowadays, a lot of people, I feel like their attention span is really short. You know what I mean? With like just the way our world is set up in society and like the universe and shit. So I don't know. I think the best thing would to be like if you're gonna drop something, make sure it fucking hits like throughout everything, you know what I mean? Because if it doesn't, people are gonna like lose interest really fast. And I've like noticed that throughout like the projects that I myself have dropped in like the past under like different aliases or whatever, you know. So it's kind of like I like even under Silent Cabin, I had like a week ago I had like 34 songs up under Silent Cabin, and now I have like 4. Cause you know, I just feel like I want to like keep what I have like really solid, you know? Whether that be like, okay, this shit's really good. And that doesn't mean like other stuff isn't good enough to not be posted. I just think like maybe it wasn't like executed as well. So let's try to like take that idea again, like take those lyrics, take that kind of beat choice, maybe like change up some things, maybe change the beat choice, maybe add more to the lyrics, you know what I mean? Maybe it was just the recording or mixing and mastering that, you know, kind of got fucked up, you know, it's an old song or something. It just depends. So, apart from that, it's like I've kind of thinking about just like maybe having like a cabin second account that has just like way more shit that's like I feel like I can post without it having to be like this is really good. But I don't know. That's also
Yeah,
like
that was actually going to be one of my next questions, is if you're going to plan on
right.
having an archive account or not, or if you plan on keeping all those private songs to yourself.
Right. I mean, I don't think so. Like right now, so I have like in my like SoundCloud banner, I have a featured account that's like CXVC, which is another one of my like alt accounts. But I think I'm gonna just like change that name to like I mean, you know, like cabin or like cabin 2 or silent cabin 2,
Loud
whatever, you
cabin?
know.
No, I'm just
Loud cabin,
kidding.
you know, cabin's closet.
Yeah, for real.
Whatever, you know what I mean?
Pole
Yeah.
barn? No, I'm just
Yeah. Farm cabin.
yeah.
No, go crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know, something, you know, but like, cause I do think it's cool for people to like see the development, but like people also have to understand that like it's like sometimes like this song that I made that when I was like, you know, in a really bad space, whether that be like something that I want up or not, or like maybe why can't I fucking speak? Maybe it's just you know, oh, it's like I like the song. Like I have a couple songs I took down like Old Friend and Screen Glow, and it's like not even that I don't like those songs, or like even Moral Compass and stuff, or one with Moral Compass with Empty Chest, or like Broken Body Therapist with Dex and stuff. And those songs, it's not that they're not good songs. It's just like yet again, I feel like I was like almost just like trying to find a sound a lot, you know? And it's like not like I didn't do those sounds too good. Like they were good songs, but I just don't think it was like necessarily like what I want to make right now and what I plan to make. So it's kind of like weird if I have that up for like me and I think my fans.
And with an attention span like we were speaking on how people have nowadays, I think it might just be easier to keep it so concise so people can easily
Oh
like
my
sort through it
God.
so they don't get lost in the sauce. And like
Thank you.
the songs you wanted them to hear, it's 6 songs away from the other song.
That's oh my God. See, you said that. That's what I was literally saying to Deathright the other day because I was like, part of my issue is he was like saying he wants to private some stuff, and one of his songs that he wished got more plays was like one of his like very first songs that's like when you scroll to the bottom, and I'm like, well, that's kind of hard for that to get plays when you have like 8 songs in between that you might not like as much. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You need to have like the stuff you have. It's easier to promote your stuff when everything that you have on there you want to promote, not just one song. because then you can literally promote your whole entire page. You know what I mean? Like, go listen to my music, because everything on there, that you like love to your core and want to promote, as opposed to like, I'm just going to promote this one song. Cause then it's like, you have like a SoundCloud that's almost just like, oh, here's a really good song. That one was really good. Oh, wait, that's like an unfinished project. Wait, that one was really good. Wait, that one just sounded like an unfinished that was, it's kind of just like a back and forth. So it's like, if you just nail it down to like, you don't have to post every song you make. And also I feel like people maybe get in like the habit of like, I know I have like, and I was talking to Deathright about it as well, and he said he did as well one time. Like, like, oh, I feel like I have to like post something. It's been like a long time, like 3 months or something. So then you start going through your like, your stuff on your hard drive or whatever. And then you're like, oh, I'll post this song because it's like good enough. But it's like, why be good if you could be great? Maybe like fine tune it a little bit more, spend a couple more hours on it, maybe re-record it, it's not going to hurt.
And even like you said, like having like some of the songs that you privated were still really good, but they didn't necessarily fit the sound you're going for. So even if a bunch of the songs in a row are good, it's like I'm listening to this genre, then all of a sudden it's a whole different genre than what I was listening to, or like what I was trying to find through this artist in the first place.
And that can kind of throw people off because, like I know I've definitely like found a couple artists before in the past. I can't think of like names right now, but it's just like at first you're kind of just like, whoa, like this song's really, really cool. And then you want to go, dive right into all their stuff. And then it's like, nothing was kind of like that. And you're really disappointed and it kind of sucks. But also there is times where like, I can think, with like Garden and stuff, it's like, I think he's a very, very consistent artist. And he does like step out of his zone a little bit, but I love like consistency. It's like something like I almost like struggle with like having to like have everything consistent. Like I was like all my like cover arts, all my like songs, like like vocals, like mixing levels. Like, okay, is this song as good as this song? Like, are the lyrics like is hitting? Like, okay, how is it being received by people? Like, I don't know. It's like I need to like not stress it as much because it's really like it doesn't fucking matter. Because in 5 years, it's not gonna matter for shit. Like,
exactly. That's so definitely true. Like, look at Sewer Person, for example, what they dropped like 3 years ago compared to what they drop now.
Exactly.
And they're still so talented and cohesive.
Exactly.
Like, per album.
It's like it really doesn't matter. It's like just keep making shit and you'll get good. And just keep like it doesn't even if you want to like move on, like just do it. Like for the longest time, like it was like literally like probably like 3-4 months that I knew like I had I still was going under my name Fuckgruee, but I like knew that I didn't even want to make music under it. So like every song that I made just didn't even feel like truthful because it's like my identity as the artist wasn't even truthful. You know what I mean? In a way. And it's like that was me at one point in time, but that was me when I was like really fucking young. I'm also like now I'm like, oh, turning 21 and I'm like starting to be like, I actually want to like make meaningful fucking truth like music.
Yeah,
do
definitely.
That instead.
Something that actually you resonate with more.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you as well, do you have any plans to make a SilentCxbin album, or are you just gonna continue on kind of with this trajectory of singles for now until you get something more cohesive kind of lined up?
I mean, I really do want to do an album, but the thing is, like, I really want to, like, I've been, like, just over stressing myself on, like, being, like, more into the self-prod, like, producing aspect of things. Cause it's like, I produce a lot, but I don't really ever like to use my own beats. And it's just like, I don't know why. They're like, a lot of times it's like, I can't, like, I think a beat of that I made isn't, like, good enough, but it's like, I don't know. A lot of them are really good, but then I don't ever want to use them. And I'm trying to make some shit that like I want to use. Like I do have like 3-4 songs that I've made that are self-prod that are like just sitting in a vault that like I was like, fuck, I might make this like a self-prod album. And I thought about it and I do want to make like a project. Like I actually was talking to Deathright about like a couple like name ideas for a project. I don't really know what it would be called yet because like I'd want to like kind of get something really like solid in like the works in like a sound, you know what I mean? And I was kind of thinking of a couple things, but for now I think it's going to be like push like each like single as much as I can while like working on shit in the background. But like, I mean, I have like a, like I make so much music. It's like there's gonna be a lot of albums coming. Like once it starts, it's gonna definitely gonna keep going. But I think it's just like finding that right, like fully dial in everything in first. Because I don't want to just like make an album and then that be like, received terribly. Cause that's just like the worst thing like to feel as an artist almost, because you put a lot of time into an album. An album is very different from a single. You can make a single in like 3 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
especially when you're actually thinking out the album the way that you do and like coming at the album from a cohesive perspective and it's like actually reflecting a ton of you in it. You definitely want to make
yeah,
sure you actually care about it when you drop it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and the thing is, I have like so much shit that it's like kind of cool because I do have like so much Fuckgruee music that like there's times where I'll find myself like pulling like a sewer person or someone else where it's like I don't know what to like write, so I'll just go and like rework bars from like really really old songs off like alt accounts that like no one really like that now knows me has really heard or like seen on my like SilentCxbin page, but then I get to rework like Screen Glow, that song that I used to have up. It's private. It's probably gonna go back up. Is like I just want to rework it some more. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But
No
like that's
promises.
no I'm not making a promise. I'm like I might go back up. That's only because my girl just really likes that one. But that happens sometimes. And but like that song was a fucking song I made like a year and a half ago compared to when I dropped it. I just the lyrics were really good with like they still resonated with me in a way. So I wanted to rework it. But it was like a pop punk song when I first made it, It was like completely different. I didn't hit no falsettos or any like cool things. So it was like really, really different. But then I found that beat and I was like, damn, this kind of reminds me of those lyrics. So I was just like, let's rework this. So sometimes it's like kind of just like if you're a fan, just like wait and see, because I bet that song that you want, you'll probably find it in a better song to come. It might not be the same exact song, but you might see the same flow or just like crafted better or something. You know what I mean? So it's like just wait.
That's so cool. That's a really interesting way to look at it. Like I know a lot of artists do that as well. Like some of the artists I really like Wikipedia will rework
Exactly.
songs into other songs. It's really cool. And like callbacks too, not just like reusing lyrics. Both of
Yes.
those are
Like
so
with other
nice.
people. Yes.
Yes, back and forth. Like I need to
See,
start using cabin bars in my songs. Like
dude, see, I kind of did that with theirs. So there's, Veo, which I know you just went and seen. That was sick.
yeah.
And there was like, the bad bitch shit, and he's like, LAX to NYC, all designer brands on me. And then like you have XP who did like the LAX to like London, you know what I mean? And then like in one of his songs, Blurry Vision, and then in a song that I'm working on right now with like possibly getting, Deathright and XP on. It's like I went, LAX to CDG, which is a European code for an airport, which I was kind of shouting out Bleaky
Yeah.
55.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, like callbacks, just like I feel like people kind of like feel like, oh, I have to make something original, but it's like, dude, we're in like 2022, bro. Nothing's original no more. Just like you have to make it sound original.
Yeah,
That's
everything's derived, but it's individual. Like the
yeah,
originality comes from the people and like their take on
exactly.
everything.
That's my point. You got to make it sound original. You got to like say it from the heart. You got to like put some emphasis on it.
Exactly. And people are hearing us say a lot of names like Deathright and Bleaky, and we'll get onto those here during the interview. I don't want everyone to feel lost in the sauce, but they will come up.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
homies.
But the next question that I wanted to ask you, I know that you operate out of Seattle. We've talked about it before, but do you have any artists in the scene there near Seattle that you want to work with, or like in the surrounding cities, or that you take inspiration from?
So like right now I'm like kind of like I'm near Seattle, right? I'm like kind of like in Spokane, which is like I think like a 7-hour drive from Seattle. But the thing is, Spokane's music scene's very, very dead, in my opinion. And like also like I don't know if you've ever felt this maybe before with like I know you've showed me a lot of your old music and shit that's happened in the past with it. Like if you've ever felt like blacklisted from like your community, like your music community. Like
Absolutely, absolutely.
so like I feel like my actual local music community don't fuck with me. So I just started kind of repping Seattle because it's like, well, that's 7 hours away. That's another like hometown. And I'll just like more people in Seattle show love to me than like anyone outside of it. Like I think how you pronounce it is like Edison. It's like EDACITY or something. And he has a song with some pretty big names like Little Lotus and stuff. And like I've talked to him a couple times. He's from Seattle, and a bunch of other, just cool people that
Canebot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and another cool one. I think the biggest inspiration I would have to say I found out of Seattle would be like Little Soda Boy, like back in like
Yeah, of
2016 off of,
course.
like Status and shit. Like that was like crazy because like he was like so close to home for me, you know what I mean? And I was like, damn, like I'm seeing somebody like do this, you know what I mean? From like my back door, and I'm like, oh my God.
R.I.P. to all the Astari videos, the Little Soda
Oh my
Boy.
God, yeah, like
Yeah, we know the lore out here.
we know what's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
XO.
yo, for real. And then I was gonna ask about Spokane. Did you move there recently in your life, or is that like always been somewhere that you've lived like your whole life?
Yeah, so that's like where I'm from, you know what I mean? Technically, that's where I was born. And then I've moved around a lot just within Spokane and like other places, you know what I mean? But like I've never like moved outside of Washington really, it's just been like it's crazy because I was supposed to move to Oregon like 2, 3 different times, and I always think like, damn, what would have happened? Or like when I was 18, I was supposed to move to Cali, you know what I mean? So I was like, what would have happened? Or like literally like a couple months before I did the SilentCxbin change, I was like literally like about to move to Seattle, like back to Seattle or whatever, So it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, you
I
could have been anywhere. You could be in Cali right now, right next to Deathright.
Yeah, I mean, me and him have talked about, like possibly like trying to get a place together out there or like, in Oregon or something and moving together. Cause me and him, like talk a lot. And I definitely would say that's probably like definitely my probably my best friend, which is funny because I've never met him in like actual IRL, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what the internet is here for. And that kind of brings me to this next question too, is like speaking on the internet, like there used to be area dependent music, right? Like East Coast versus West Coast rap, or even like Beast Coast with Joey Badass and them versus like the West Coast like chilled style of rapping. And even in the hyperpop scene, like there's different areas, but do you see that kind of stuff going away now that there's just the internet where we can meet with like Bleaky, for instance, from France, or other artists from other sides of the world that are still making similar music in this genre, even though we're nowhere near each other? So do you kind of see like that area-based music scene going away, or is it still something that you feel like is like permeates?
To be honest, like the whole like East Coast versus West Coast, like Pac versus Big E and shit like that, and or I don't know. Uh, I feel like a lot of like whatever like that shit that had to happen back then was like way different from the way where the scene's at now. I
Of
feel like
course.
I feel like it's more just like scene versus scene based, not like, oh, what scene's better or anything, but it's just like, it's like you have, like, for example, you have an artist who might be more like very, very like nightcore hyperpop based or something, or DMB hyperpop based, and then you have and they could be anywhere, like whether it be like you said, like France or something, and then you have somebody from like Australia or like London or something that's doing like pop punk stuff. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. Crazy shit, and like they come together and do some crazy stuff. Like that's so easy to happen. I mean, like like that's literally like how 55 is, like none of us are literally like in the same place, right? But we're all like making dope stuff together. So like really I think like nowadays it's more like use the internet to your advantage in every way possible, whether that's tutorials or but I definitely don't see it being like how it is or how it used to be. I definitely see it more just like it's like blending to just like everyone's accepting everything. I honestly see genres like dying out because honestly nowadays a lot of people don't even care. You ask somebody what genre of music they make, they don't even know what to tell you. They're just like, like I don't even know what to tell you. Like what do I make? I don't know.
And I posted photos from that Gore Girls show with Gorset and Girls Club, and I got a lot of comments from like people that don't know what hyperpop is, and they were confused because they didn't understand that there's like a big punk presence in that genre name is just like an overarching like title. It's not actually a thing. Like hyperpop's like a scene. It's not a genre. So like you said, like genres are dying out. So they saw someone like Joey Des 33 with like his awesome spikes, Liberty spikes, and they're like confused because they didn't realize what that hyperpop is everything. Like, yeah.
They didn't know they were going to a punk show or something.
Yeah, straight up. It's incredible. They're incredible artists.
that's kind of like what you were saying. Like genres are dying out, and it's more scene based. That's what I'm saying. I think it's more scene versus scene, or scene with scene. You know, not like in a competition necessarily, but it's like you have hyperpop. But what is hyperpop? Hyperpop could be indie, it could be pop, it could be punk, it could be, you know, it could be so many things that it's like it's not even a genre. So it's crazy. You know, I mean, I've seen I've seen so many people be like something is or isn't hyperpop, and it's like I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of like it's more I don't know. I used to be in the punk scene a lot, like really big. So it's more like I always look at things more like it's more of like an attitude than it is like the way you dress or da da da. You know, the way you sound or da da da. It's like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's more your
100%.
attitude. You know, it's like if you have the attitude of the like what the scene you're in is, then I mean, I guess I think the scene will like see that. But it, you know, like you with hyperpop lately, you can kind of see so many people just jumping on the genre, you know, or like trying to make calling this hyperpop because, you know, like hyperpop's popular right now, and then it doesn't even matter, you know. It's like
Exactly.
it's not even hyperpop. It's like, dude, what was the point of that?
We're seeing some people who don't align with the views of the scene also just trying to like ride off the wave of the scene because they see how popular it's getting and they see how the community is so vocal and
Exactly.
how the community cares so much about their artists, and they're just trying to hop on that wave because they want to be a part of it, and they don't actually
They,
like share attitude or like even like one thing that I think stands out through all of hyperpop is experimentation and like not being afraid to blend genres and not being afraid to work on something just for the art sake of it, not necessarily even for like the like straightforward production value or like the straightforward quality of it. You're like blending everything that you can together, and like artists who are like extremely professional and extremely defined in their lanes, like MGK for example. I hate to fucking
oh my
name
god.
call, but trying to come into the hyperpop scene when they really have nothing to do with it. Like it's kind of interesting to see, and it was expected. Even Cole Bennett, like I said, I hate to shout names out, but like Cole Bennett used to be the one bringing artists up to the scene, but now I see him coming to hyperpop scene to like kind of get his stuff back into relevance, at least how I feel.
Yeah, definitely. That's like the point. It's just like, and you even have, you know, like MGK again, like, you know, popping onto the punk scene or pop punk
Yep.
scene, you know, to
Yep.
try to, and it's just like, it's one thing to just like, you know, like still try to be finding your sound and like people could see that. But I don't think it's that case with a lot of these people nowadays. It's just like, oh, this is popular, I'm gonna do this. Oh wait, this is popular, I'm gonna do this. You know, it's just like, dude, what? You know, like I don't know.
I agree
It's
completely, especially when labels become involved, you know, it becomes kind
oh
of
my
very tainted.
yeah, you know, and that's the thing. I feel like with labels, like you got to watch out with a lot of the shit with the labels. You know, like nowadays it's more like just like I feel like have fun and then like just let shit come.
Yeah, for real. Most definitely.
Yeah.
So finally, we get to this question. You're from the West Coast, and the closest to the fellow 55 Depths member is Deathright. Can you speak a little bit on Deathright and who he is to you, and if you have any plans to meet up in person eventually, which you already spoke on a little bit, said you guys wanted to move in together at some point, but if you want to speak a little bit about Deathright and give a quick shout out to him.
I mean, yeah, you know, definitely shout out Deathright. Deathright was, you know, the person who even like basically, I guess you could say like got me in 55 and who I met. I mean, you know, he's a great guy, great person. Love his music. I would say we definitely have some plans, hopefully, to meet up. You know, definitely just the way life is and shit, still getting shit in order. But I would definitely say plans to meet up. Shout out Deathright. Definitely go peep everything that he's done. Great music.
Incredible producer, incredible vocalist.
Incredible producer and vocalist and
Only
mixer.
reason that we're here talking right now because yeah, without Deathright there would be no 55 Deaths, and we
Exactly.
wouldn't
You
know
know.
each other, and none of us members would be connected in this way. So it's really cool to me, and also huge shout out Blow Spar for like introducing
Oh
me
yeah,
to
yeah.
Deathright and getting these things
See,
moving.
and he's who technically I knew first, but me and him didn't really talk that much in or about 55 ever. But then you know, like he was the one who technically sent me the invite to 55. But I think that was mainly because, you know, I was talking to Deathright a lot, you know what I mean? Like for like definitely a couple weeks, like and then yeah. Uh great people. All of them.
Incredible people. Yeah, it was like a circle for me as well where I showed Blowspar Traxy. Blowspar had been following my YouTube and my music for a while. Then he found Traxy, and then he invited me and Traxy into 55 Depths. And yeah, it's like all history from then. And I'm not sure if Aaron or Blowspar invited Traxy in or how that happened, but I do believe Blowspar was like the linking connection between all these dots. So it's really interesting to see.
I feel like he's definitely had like Blowspar's definitely had his eyes on a lot of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I see him all over the scene. Everybody knows of Blowspar too. It's really interesting. Like he's got his tentacles deep into the scene.
Yeah, he does.
100%. And then I wanted to ask, speaking of 55 Depths, what has your experience been being part of an internet collective? And what does 55 Depths mean to you as a collective and also obviously as a friend group?
Well, I mean, you know, it's a great collective, first of all. I mean, I feel like I love it because, you know, I don't really think we inside, like us inside 55 really just like view ourselves heavy as a collective. We just, I think, look at ourselves more as like a really good friend group. And we make a lot of cool music, you know what I mean? And it just so happens to be beneficial. But apart from it being, you know, like being an internet collective and stuff, and how do I feel about it? I mean, it's like really, really cool because I've like I was telling Deathright before, I've like actually created a collective before, but it didn't really ever do much. You know, a lot of people just kind of died out and stuff. I still talk to a lot of the people in it, but just isn't really like what it hoped to be. You know what I mean? But 55 is like literally what like I could dream of being in a collective. So it's great.
Yeah, I've been a part of a lot of collectives in my life, and it's rare that they're so connected and where they actually speak with each other every day, constantly give feedback and help develop each other's sounds and like involve themselves in each other's music. Every time I make a song, the first people I think of is 55 Depths and who I can get on it and what kind of, influences I can gain from you guys and feedback I can get on the music I'm making. So it's super important to me. And I'd like to give a shout out to all the members real quick. We got Blowspar, Demon Dog, Traxy, Bleaky, Deathright, of course, the founder, the captain, and then Fern, Osakiro, Softbite, Tigerstar, and of course, SilentCxbin and Petro. absolute GOAT lineup, if you ask me.
GOAT lineup, yeah.
Yo, for real. And then my next question I wanted to ask you, who outside of 55 is your favorite artist to work with? And do you have any plans for any future features that you're willing to share with us right now?
Outside of 55. Okay, so let's see. I mean, I love XP. XP goes crazy,
yes.
Self-prod. Dope guy, you know what I mean? He even did the name drop, the 55 name drop with me and Deathright. So
that was really nice.
And he does a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, I'm trying to get him on a song right now with that I have with Deathright. So that's pretty cool. Another one is Deku Scrub. I believe is how you pronounce that. Really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely some other people that I would love to collab with outside of 55, like not saying I am right now, but I would love to. One Sloan for sure.
Yeah, big facts.
Big for sure. Let me think. What are some other people? Cherry Rizla, love. It's I trying to think of some others right now. Oh, You Lovely's pretty cool. I would love to, like get a collab in there sometime. I don't know, really. I really like to sometimes I think collabs hit or miss. I think it has to kind of come natural. And then also a couple others that some close friends Bunny Boy, love him.
Yeah.
He's in Austin, cool guy, love him.
One of the people who survived the purge of your page.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Pretty rare. It's kind of funny because he's actually been through 2 purges now, and I'm surprised he even still makes music with me. You know what I mean?
That's real homie shit, though, for real.
For real. He's really nice, you know what I mean? I've never met him again, or, in real life yet again, with a lot of people that I claim to be my best friends, but, I I don't know. I just don't really talk to a lot of people in my like city. It's kind of funny. I think I just find myself networking with these other people a lot more. And another really good one is my buddy Afterlife. Me and him don't really like make too much. We had a couple songs together. We don't make too much music. He like lives same city as me right now. Really cool dude, but just kind of like, like sometimes you have those IRL friends and it just like you guys don't really make the same exact music anymore, or sometimes you guys just don't hang out a lot. And that's all right. But other than that too, I would say Frostbite's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Um, Destroy That Wall. Often Forgotten. Uh, yeah, those would be definitely some peeps that I would love to collab with, or that shout outs to.
Yeah, big shout outs. And I think part of finding more friends online and less IRL friends is like once you're out of high school and you don't enter into college, or you're out of college, you're coming to an age where like you're no longer bound by people that live near you, and it's more like people that you can actually relate to and that you're not just friends with because they were close to you. Not that I don't love my high school friends or like still keep in contact with those kind of people, but it was always more friendships by circumstance. And don't get me wrong, some of my best friends are still from that time period, and I still speak to some of them. But it's like now the friend groups that we're in, it mainly has to do with because we like each other for the interests that we have, and we're into the same stuff and like understand each other in that way. We're not bound by, oh, we're going to the same spot, so here we're talking now.
Right, exactly. I definitely feel that and relate.
IRL friends. Okay, my next question, we just talked about favorite artist to work with. Is you're a producer yourself. Would you say you have a favorite producer in the scene right now, or any of your favorite producers you want to shout out real fast?
I would definitely say Sorrowbringer is definitely crazy. I love him. Uh, let me go think. Wizardry, really dope. Um, Timeless, Worst with an X, Johnny Friend, CM
Hey,
Spark,
yep, the OGs.
yeah, of course, Dax 9K,
Yep.
KYG. Yeah, he showed love a lot, back like, like last year and stuff, and I was making a lot of pop punk music under my other alias, so really cool. Saint Mike, of course.
Oh yeah,
Fre-
that's Blow Spar's plug. Yo,
yeah,
for
for
real,
real, for real.
for real, for real.
um, Frevel and Pagria, I think, or something. I might have butchered that. I don't know. It's like Pekarot. So, fix me if I'm wrong. I would say Naviki. I think it's like NVKI. Really cool producer again. Joel's, of course. And
Oh yeah,
Struth.
yo, yeah, that's a very good list. All super
Yes.
talented. And
Yes.
a lot of those are just really cool people in general. Like Seam Spark is one
Of,
of the nicest producers I've ever
of
spoken
course.
with. Just cool
Yes.
people.
Exactly. That's the thing too, is a lot of times like it's not like, oh, you have a big name or whatever, I want to collab with you. It's more like I like to collab with people that are like friendly and shit. Like I let actually seem to like have a friendship with. I like to like have friends more than I do like just collaborators.
Exactly. Exactly. If none of us worked, we could really just get to the point where we all produce for each other. But like having a job and doing your own vocals and trying to run our own social medias and do our own networking for our music, it just leaves it where we don't have the time to produce as much as we'd like to. Otherwise, we'd all be able to
I
fill in the dots for each other.
I feel like like that with that. I feel like the only thing I could say would be like, although 55 is really tight knit, maybe like, just finding a couple, like maybe one or two more just producers. I know we have Soft Bite, shout out. Um,
Yeah, I always use Soft Bites beats. I haven't
y-
released
y-
anything on them yet, but I have like 3 or 4 just
that
sitting
one
right
that
now.
the one I have with Deathright and XP coming, that's on a Soft Bite beat as well. Really cool.
He's
But
also
yeah,
just Soft Bites is such a cool guy, such a good
yeah, such a
person.
cool guy. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that'd be my only thing, would be like, just because, it's like if we only have one producer, it's definitely hard to just like, one person can only make so many beats. And like you said, like each individual person that also does a lot of vocals and mixing and then all this and then work and just normal life, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a lot to just like take on. But
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be my
100%.
that'd be my only take on that.
And that leads me to another question: is do you prefer producing or do you prefer doing vocals?
I mean, I prefer doing vocals, but like I feel like I want to like be more into like I said, like, self-producing and producing and shit, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
find myself wanting to record more, like, oh, I want to record a song more than I want to like, oh, I want to make a beat. But it just kind of depends too on the days.
Yeah, absolutely. Some days it's like you're feeling vocals more. Some days it's like you're
Yeah,
feeling producing
exactly.
more. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to touch on this too. Earlier, you spoke about like your beats, you really like them, but you don't necessarily want to go on them when they're finished. I think it's like a personalization issue because I have the same thing. If I hear a beat of mine detached from it, like it's been a month or like I'm separated from it, it sounds so much more fire and like I can get on it. Or like when I hear someone else on it, I realize how good it was. It's almost like when you're the one who made it and you just finished making it, it's a different listening experience than as if you were hearing it the first time.
I
It's so separate.
definitely I definitely agree because you know every little nitpick about the beat, so you've lived in it. I feel like definitely like export the beat, go put it on your drive, and then like you said, like wait a month or two, go play it in the car while you're just
Yep.
driving, and then you're gonna be like, God damn, this was like either really trash or really good.
Exactly. It'll really dawn on you once you've separated yourself from it.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely, I think, fact right there for sure.
And then I was going to ask you, since you've done both production and vocals, do you have any favorite VSTs for either one that you would recommend to the listener to try out?
I think the best thing is just like don't get lost in the sauce too much. Like, no lie, like I have like 940 something VSTs right now on my computer, which is ridiculous. You don't even need half of the shit that I have. You literally just, if you have FL Studio or Ableton or something or Logic, you know what I mean? Like you could literally just use your stock plugins in there. What I would highly recommend for people that are looking to like, maybe upgrade their stuff and whatnot and like check out some stuff that isn't, that you might want to go spend some money or whatever, I would definitely highly recommend uh there's a JSP bundle. Um it has a bunch of plugins like gain reduction plugins, really dope, which I actually found out about them through 93 Feet of Smoke on a live stream showing his mixing chain on Ableton for his song Apple, which is like a pretty recent song. So I was like, damn, this shit's bussin'. Let me go let me go find out about this stuff. And I got it for $50 on sale. I don't know how much it goes for now and shit, but they also had some really cool plugins in there too because it's a bundle. They had this one called Pixelator, which is like a bit crush plugin, which I think is like one of the best bit crushing plugins that I've seen. Because I don't know where the hell these motherfuckers be getting their bit crushing plugins, but I can never find them. You feel me? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I need a better bit crushing plugin because I just use Crush right now, which isn't horrible, but yeah,
and see,
it's
that's what I used to use, and I can never get it really dialed in. I'll have to show you the link or whatever to their website and stuff. But also I would definitely suggest investing in like a really good auto tune. And to be honest, I know a lot of people talk about the classic like auto tune Evo or whatever, and I think it's really good. And if it's like what you want, then I mean go for it. But I think if you can like step out of your comfort zone of wanting to use that, because it's, I guess, name brand and go use like Waves Tune real time, which I think most of the times you can get for like $40 or $30.
yeah, I just got it on sale for 25 actually.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
look
honestly,
for those
that's like,
sales.
those are, yeah, exactly. That's where I be getting a lot of my stuff is on sale. And sometimes, dude, when they say they're on sale, I bet you like they're going to be on sale for another month. A lot of
Yeah,
times.
literally, or
And
like half the year. Like,
yeah, man, like, I've seen some plugins, I ain't gonna say them, but, on sale for literally, like, 4 years now, and I'm like, "Okay, like, let's
that's
stop
just your
this."
price now at this point.
Exactly. But Wavestune is 10 times better in my opinion, um, because it's just a lot of, like, just if you would actually watch the video, you could actually just see. I'm gonna break it down here for you, but, yeah, I think I would definitely suggest Wavestune over, like, Autotune, and I would really suggest if you're looking for, like, to add some like background like kid vocals, like up pitched and stuff. If you want to like invest in another a better like pitch, because I know most programs like FL Studio, where if you just click on the audio and stuff, you can pitch them up or down. But just right there. But sometimes the pitching isn't the best. Let's say I think you could get away with that 8 times out of 10. But if you do want to look for something better, I would suggest Little Alter Boy, because that plugin's like, I think, clutch. And apart from that, I really suggest like a really good reverb. Like, you cannot, like, if you don't have a good reverb plugin, you're just like gonna fail. I feel like, because and I feel like a lot of programs, that's where they lack, is like in really good reverb plugins, in my opinion. I like to do a lot with reverb plugins, like with what I'm doing with my reverb. So I would suggest like Pro R from FabFilter, because you get to like EQ it and shit in there and do a lot of cool stuff. I'd also suggest Rev Intensity from Arturia, I believe. And then they also have some other ones like Rev Plate, Rev Spring. So I think they have a bundle or something. You could get with all like 3 or something, which is really cool. Or Valhalla, which also is like a really good.
Yeah, I got the trial for that once, and that I feel like that one came with Little Alter Boy. If not, like it was in like a similar bundle. But I don't have Valhalla anymore. But it was beautiful. Like the plate reverb. There's multiple types of reverbs on there. But
yes,
that one goes crazy.
And to be honest, like people are like, if you want to know, like, yet again with the, like, I knew about Valhalla, but what really got me to use him was again on that 93 Feet of Smoke live stream. He was using Valhalla plate, and I was just like, all right, I'm like, I'm wrapping it up. I'm using this.
yeah, for real. Definitely can see why. 93 Feet of Smoke's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think that's like, one of my definitely inspirations when I was getting into like mixing and shit.
Yeah, another 2 plugins that I'd like to throw out just for my own sauce, like saturation and filters. Those 2 things are super important to me, at least, especially for like ad lib layers. Like it makes it stand out separate from your main layers, and adds a lot of mid and like harmonic. If you saturate it, it's a lot different than your main vocal.
I didn't even think about that. And some cool ones for those, I would have to say, I think would have to be like, to be honest, you can get away with a lot of just like, your stock plugins for the distorter, or like, saturation and like all that. But I would definitely suggest like to people, like, don't just like use just a distortion plugin, like fuck around with guitar amps and shit. And you can find a lot of free cool guitar amp plugins, and throw those on your vocals. You'd be surprised on like what those will do. You know what I mean? You can go crazy. And a really cool one, which you put me on to, which was Isotope Trash, which I've been using lately.
I use that in everything.
Crazy.
That's insane.
The amount of shit you can do to that, like that plugin, you don't even need another like saturator or distortion plugin. Like, that's a fact.
It's absolutely insane.
It's absolutely. So 10 out of 10. But if you're also like, some cool free ones is like Temper and Crush It again, which is kind of cool. You can do some cool distortion and cool with things in there. I always just like to use pedals. I like to like look for like free pedals online and shit like that.
Like
tube screamers and shit. Like, yeah. And filters are like always, you have to have one of them. Fruity Love Filter for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Fruity Love Filter goes crazy. And Fruity Blood Overdrive for saturation.
Oh my god, yes. Fruity Blood Overdrive. It's insane.
Insanity. So I already asked you about like your favorite vocalists to work with that aren't in 55 Depths, but do you have any like major famous vocalists in the scene that you would like to work with? And like, can you explain why or what you find interesting in them?
So let's go. Yeah, dude, that's a good one. Honestly, for real. Let's see. Well, first off, I would have to say like 93. Like I've shown love to 93 for so long, and it's crazy because like I found him off of it was like a song with Carson Connor or something, and it was crazy. It was like 2016 or something. It was a while back, like before a couple of his like bigger songs that got like the bigger music video placements and shit. And I would love to work with 93 and another one, which right next to him, which would be Fatsy.
Dynamic duo.
Oh my god. And I mean, honestly, it's just like I feel like they just like I don't know, like when I hear their stuff, it's like, damn, this is like, it just really like, especially Fatsy, like resonates with me to a whole nother level. Like like Bad News and stuff. Like great music, like musicians. Another would definitely have to be, I would say, like Shrimp. I love Shrimp. Been listening to him for a while before his even like what is the one song? Uh it was off of his like, oh, I think it was like the Laying in the Dirt song like 4 years ago. That one was so good. And I love Shrimp. I would love to do something with there. A lot of like a lot of cool stuff I feel like he's done that's been slept on. Another kind of not as big, but Days to Waste. Really cool underground artist. I would definitely say like Wubs. Wubs is insane. Like the one thing I really love about Wubs is like he took the hyperpop scene and like kind of like flipped it, because it was like everyone was like, let me do like up pitch vocals, like high pitch vocals, da da da. And he was like, nah, bro, let me like do like low fermented vocals,
Yo, I gotta let you
And
in on a secret. I just saw Wubs live, right? That's
Right.
just their voice. I'm not even capping unless
Are
they
you
had formatting
joking?
on. No, they did it live with no backtracking. And unless they had formatting on his voice, that's just his voice. He sounded
bro,
exactly the same live. It was perfect. It was honestly an incredible performance.
I mean, if that's just his voice, then holy fuck, props to him. That's like some straight up like, that's insane. But I always thought it was Formanton, so that's crazy. But like,
And
I always
don't
thought,
hold me to it because they did have an auto-tune pedal there, so they could have
Right.
formatted. But even just hearing them talk and listening to them sing with no backtrack, it sounded identical live.
that is actually insane. Honestly, I would definitely have to say, even if it is or isn't, I just love his take on things, because even his production, because he like his production
my
side of
God.
things is
Reminds me of Fatsy, kind of, honestly.
Yeah, kind of. And that's what's crazy, is because I found Wubs from a freaking 93 repost, you know what I mean? And I was like, like if 93 is reposting something, it was like on Twitter. I was like, let me go check this out. And it's
It
for like
makes sense.
it was for his music video. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like the nastiest thing I've heard. You know what I mean? Like, another really good one would be like Curtains. You know what I mean? Love Curtains. I would definitely say like I love Rory. I would love to get something with Rory. One of my or like even Veyor, both, because dynamic duo right there.
They are
Even
so talented.
even Polar, dude. Polar is really slept on. I think, and also 8485. Love
Oh
8485.
yeah, absolutely. I wish she would
Yeah.
post more music, but I understand how it is for people 100%. I'm just glad that she has so much stuff out already. Like,
Yeah,
so talented.
I think it definitely is that little like like, oh, double-edged sword, where it's like I don't want to overpost and not have it be like what exactly I wanted it to be like a month later. I definitely would say another good one would have to be like Hamilton. I would love to get something with Hamil.
Zombie, you know that song? Oh, gee.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love
gee.
Hamilton. So talented.
So talented. Yeah, other than that, I would definitely say, trying to think if there's any others that maybe slip my brain. I mean, some bigger ones would definitely be like, Deco or Deco, I don't know, either or. And then
Deco, yeah.
Break-ins, you know what I mean? Oh my God, Break-ins would be insane. Or even Haylog. Break-ins and Deco, like for those two, it's just like how much different they bring to like what scene they're in. It's insane. Like if you go like hear like Deco's like prod on like shit like for the Migos and stuff he's done, because he's an insane producer. It's like nothing
Walk it
like
like
what
you
he
talk
like.
it.
It's like nothing like what he does for himself, like like under himself. Anxiety Attacks as well. Another person I found off of like a 93 album. Sofubi, which was like a really good album.
Incredible
Should
album.
should check that if you have it. Yeah, I would say that's probably the list for some people. I definitely want to bigger people I would love to talk to or like, peep with on a song.
It's crazy because Deco's even more talented on their own stuff, in my opinion, than the Migos production. Like their Migos production is killer and mainstream, but
no, that's exactly what I'm saying, bro. It's like insane because if you like, you go to the Migos shit, it's like, okay, yeah, this is good production and shit. And then you go to his shit, you're like, what the fuck? This is the same person.
It's like genre defining, but crazy style.
And
like,
I mean, Deco goes right in with it, but I would love to get a Yummy feature or something. That'd be
insane. Yummy. Yeah, for real. Oh man, Ocean World on the visuals, like you already know.
Lord. Yeah,
you already know that's tied in. Yeah, yes. I was gonna ask too, who's like your favorite visual production group? Because there's a lot of them out there, like Overcast, Hive Mind, and like obviously even Lyrical Lemonade if you really stretch back. But do you have any of those that are your favorite? And Ocean World, I mean, I'd consider their own production group, though kind of separate because they don't really do as much live footage
or
stuff
for other people, yeah. But
yeah, just for Deco.
Yeah, for real. Or I would definitely have to say, it would have. I'm trying to think. Either it'd have to be Hive Mind or either maybe I don't know. I would definitely have to say not Hive Mind and definitely Overcast for sure. Yeah, Overcast, man. Overcast is like, even though they don't have as big of a following, I think they're like completely like based for like indie music videos as opposed to Hive Mind. I don't really see them as like more of like a video production, even though they have done, like music videos and shit, But it's like they do a lot of just like more like podcast, like, YouTube videos and like podcasty type shit, as opposed to I see like Overcast as like a straight up like music like video shit. And they've done like a lot of big placements, like they got break-ins
before they were big. They really put the scene on their back. Yeah,
exactly, man.
Absolutely.
Alden and Juno and
the first videos for a lot of these people. They just recently did Angelus, her video for Paradise. Like they're really,
man.
They're absolutely out here.
They're putting on for sure.
That's someone that would be incredible to see get a 55 Deaths video for. And they don't just do hyperpop, which is really cool. Like you said, it's a lot of indie artists in the indie scene and just hip hop.
I think it's very like a very much indie based like music, music video, like production, like visual production team, Like I think they're the best out there, Like in my opinion, they're better than Lyrical Lemonade, but that's just because I
always thought that. Shit. I've always thought that. Even some of their, old Lyrical Lemonade used to really go in with the visual aesthetics,
for real,
but they really almost don't anymore the same way. Like it's like the effort that Overcast puts in on the limited budget they have is like seriously crazy. Like it doesn't make sense.
I'm like, bro, come on, dude.
It's like, how do you even do this?
98K, bro. They're slept on.
Yo, yeah, that's underrated as fuck. And I feel like their biggest video is Break-Ins, like Dropout, I think, at like 2.6 million.
Yeah, and I think it's like Midwest or something right under it.
Yeah, like they're working their way up because they have some of like the OG artists and like, yeah, it's really cool to see them on their grind and like rise up. And they've also done some. It's weird how like mainstream they have touched like they even did Patrick CC's video in the YouTube scene, which was interesting. Like QDeca, like just interesting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like interesting crossovers.
They definitely do. I think it's cool with the stuff that they put out.
And in their first 4 videos was 93 Feet of Smoke, then Fatsy again with 93 Feet of Smoke, like that. And then they're like in their first 6 videos, 7. In their first 7 videos, 5 of them are from Fatsy and 93 Feet of Smoke,
and they're all pulling above 500K. They were putting Overcast on their back, bro.
Yo, literally, those videos are all so good too. They're so well made.
That's literally what got me into Fatsy and 93, both more as artists and Overcast more as like a visual group. It literally was the best thing that they could have done for themselves, like for both of them, all of them involved.
Yeah, and they still work with 93. It's been like a couple years, I think.
Oh,
yeah. At least a year, but they still, like, that wasn't their last time working together. Like, they worked together again, so.
93's definitely been, like, I've been peeping because I watch a lot of his stuff. I've been seeing it in the description. A lot of his stuff's shot by, like, what is it, like Polar Arm or something like that? Or his
Pole Arm?
Yeah, Pole Arm. Or his girl a lot of times and shit. But really cool, you know what I mean? I mean, he still makes really cool shit. Or even Fatsy, I'd be seeing like in the credits a lot, or vice versa, which I think is dope. Like, that's the thing that people don't realize, like, with the, meeting up with like actual people in 55. Like I was talking to Deathright about, like, it's like, you know, if we fucking were able to like have a couple of us actually be like all like in the same like city and stuff, we could like be doing shows, I think, and stuff. I feel like it could go to that point really fast.
Oh yeah,
If we were together. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we're making like 5K from this show, but like, you know, 3,500 or, you know, like 3,500 of that or 3,000 of that has to go to getting us all fucking here and back, you know?
Yeah,
So
literally. Like,
it
if
doesn't
you're not
really
selling merch, you're basically just breaking even in order to bring your audience live music, which is beautiful. Like, I really appreciate them for doing that and for putting on for the scene like that.
I would still do, like I said, I could care less. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, it's like, I think it only benefits everyone, even if you're not making money, because once those people that were there see like how, if you do bring that energy, it's like, man, they're just going to want to see that again. And like, eventually they'll be willing to pay more eventually, I think.
It's not even just about getting people to pay more too. It's like getting a venue, a large venue, 3K people selling that out. Like, let's go.
Oh, yeah,
now we're talking serious.
You know what I mean?
Now we're talking serious. Like, let's go.
I feel like it's possible. It's just like the work that, you know, it's just like also like location. Like right now, like if we have 3-4 of us out of 55 being like all in like, you know, Oregon or something, or Portland or something, I don't know. I feel like we could go crazy, you know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Right now, we're all plane rides away. Even you being West Coast, you're still like 1,000 miles from Deathright.
Right now.
And like, same with me, Fern, and Tiger, Traxy. Like, Traxy and me are the closest. Like, Traxy and me are like maybe 2.5 hours apart. And I was just in Chicago. So, like, that's the closest connection we have. And then, like, Fern and Tiger are near each other in Philly, but they're also, like, you know, for me, it's 11-hour drive. So even though we're close, it's still far. Like, same thing, you know? It's 1,000 miles. There's like 700 miles, just even though we're close.
Yeah, it sucks. Especially, you know, if you having car problems and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I had to rent a car to go out to Chicago for that last show. So,
oh my god, yeah, I know. And the car that me and my girl be driving ain't gonna make it to fucking 700 miles anywhere.
yeah. This shit is absolutely a struggle. It's part of like the independent artist struggle.
Exactly.
You don't have a label to pay for those flights, to pay for those trips. So, you know, you got.
I know. I'm like, I need a cosign.
Yo, but then they just want to give you an advance. You have to pay it back, and if you can't sell the music, you go in debt.
I know, dude. It's all shit, bro.
It's all a big scam. Don't join. Don't listen to them. They just want your money, bro.
Don't be a part of the industry. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think about even like Spotify monthly listeners, and like a lot of artists that I know and that I've even like became closer with will have like 40K monthly listeners, or like even up to 100K. And even that doesn't provide you enough income to like A, live off of, but B, to even like properly promote or go do your music live. Like, people don't realize how much being an independent artist costs, like, truly, and how much it takes out of your budget. Like, it's not a joke. It actually is hardcore.
Literally, if you're like, you know, it depends on what distributor you pay for, but I know a lot of people that pay for like both DistroKid and, you know, SoundCloud Pro, just to be able to like monetize on Pro and then distribute through DistroKid, you know what I mean? And it's like, a lot of times it's like right there, DistroKid $20, you know, Pro is like, I think 100 something a year, so it's like ridiculous, you know what I mean? Right there, you're paying like basically $200 just to be able to like have your stuff on platforms, not even promote it, not even like get monthly listeners or anything, you know what I mean? Just to have, like, right now I have like, I think like 14 or 20 monthly listeners, I don't know, jack shit right now. And it's like, I have to pay like, you know, that I don't use DistroKid, so I just use SoundCloud, but it's like I'm still paying like 100 something a year to SoundCloud, you know, just to have music up, and I ain't making that back in SoundCloud.
People who are like working full time are like, $200, that ain't shit. Like, they're like, to them, because they, you know, they're working a full-time job and they don't have to spend all their time promoting music and like doing
exactly.
So they don't realize like to make even that much money is literally like 80,000 views on Spotify, I'm pretty sure, like, just to make your 200 back. So you're not gonna make it, like, unless you're a fucking decent artist that year.
No.
And like nowadays, it's actually crazy how like 60,000, 80,000 views isn't that much. Like, back in the day, that was crazy, but now we see like artists like who are completely unknown. Like, I have tons of friends who don't know who Eric or Glaive are when they have 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify and songs with like 14 million or like 6 million. Like,
same, bro.
So it is, and there is that side to it, but it's still just not a lot of money like people think it is. It's crazy.
And that's why I think part of the reason is dropping really, really, really good music, whether it be albums or singles. Cause like yet again, like name dropping Sewer Person is like I'm like looking right now, he's dropped stuff within the past 25 days, 19 days, 14 days, 9 days. And it's like, damn, he's pulling like 30K, 60K on each one of those. And
Yeah,
that's on SoundCloud. So he's able to like, if you're able to do that as an indie artist, like he's definitely like, I would say probably top tier, like what you'd want to be doing as an indie artist, like how he, like the way his numbers and shit is looking. He has an insane fan base pulling 1,000 likes, and like numbers and although like that isn't still enough to, just like go crazy, like he's not fucking probably, driving the Lamborghini and all that, but it's like he's probably paying back what he owes within
easy
the money.
Even
But-
like weekly, he probably makes that 200 at least that much a week.
But
I'm
like
sure.
but it sucks because when you look at someone like that as an indie artist, that's rare. Like most of the times you don't get that.
And you got to think about those numbers. Like even if he's making 60K, 80K views a week, 100K views a week, that's still less than I make at my job. Like, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's less. I take home like 550 a week at my job. So
And
unless
that's where-
you're able to make like, fucking 100,000 views a week, then you're not going to take home what I take home for my job. It's just
And
like,
that's where it's ridiculous because either you have to drop like 10 songs that are going to pull 10,000, or you have to drop like 2 songs that are going to pull 50, or a handful of songs that are going to pull different amount of thousands that equal that amount. And it's like there's never no guarantee. Your fan base could die tomorrow, you know what I mean? And SoundCloud could die tomorrow. It's just a free platform.
It's honestly insane being an independent artist now. Like
It is,
in some ways it's easier than ever because of the barrier to entry, but it's like more difficult than ever because like back in the day, like having 1 million people listen to your music was crazy. Like that's like insane. But now it's just like common. Like
oh my god.
Do you know that people used to promote the same album for a year straight? Like imagine having that ability to release an album and then promote it for a year. And luckily some big bands still have that ability, but it's like it's extremely rare for an underground artist. You don't get that. You can't do that.
That's my point with like Sewer Person. It's either like drop a shit ton of singles, or he's literally dropping like an album every month, which is like 10 plus songs, 20 songs, you know what I mean? Sometimes, and it's crazy, So it's like you either have to go crazy or just like go home in a way,
Absolutely. It's kind of insane how saturated the scene is. Yeah, the market. And that brings me to this next question too. So like what are your end goals with music, and like what is making music done for your life, and more specifically like for your mental state?
My end goals with music is to just like make music that I'm like proud of and happy, like I would love to have like a core fan base that I'm like that like loves my music for my music. Like I don't like we were just talking about, like oh monthly this, monthly that, and it's like that I mean that would obviously be cool because it would only be able to provide me to be able to make more music in the end, because if I could make enough money to live off music and not have to like we were talking about even earlier, like make it go work a job, that only provides me more hours to make more music and but on the other end it's like I just want to make shit that I'm like happy of, that like can like that I feel can be timeless, like you can come back to it like 5 years later and like this is still a good song, or like a year or two later and it still holds its weight.
Yeah, that makes me think back to like how Deathright was speaking about that song of his that he really wanted people to hear that was like a year old. And that like speaks on that. Like that song was so good to him that a year later it still holds up. And that means in a year from now it'll also still hold up and still be one of his favorite songs.
That's how it is with my song Iridescent, which is what I would think, which I would say is my favorite song of mine. And it's like that song's a year old and that's like my favorite song, and it like still is, you know what I mean? And it probably, like you said, it probably will be next year because it just holds that kind of weight. So like I think really like try to like make something that's like that, I would definitely suggest. And apart from like, mental state in life, I definitely say right now, music's like helped my life out with like, bringing me to like meet a lot of new cool people that apart from making music with, that I just can talk to and have a friendship with, which is really cool. So music is just dope for that because, it's like I wouldn't have all these like really cool people in my life right now if it wasn't for music. So that's always fucking sick. And mental state, I think it's really nice because I mean, like, I think everyone needs to have something that they like do, and like, like, put out their energy, like towards, whether that be like I'm feeling sad, or something, and it's like a lot of times if I'm feeling something like really like, if I'm feeling like whatever type of emotion and it's really heavy and it's like a burden, it's like, like I'll go write something, I'll go make something. It's kind of like some people, might go for a freaking run or like, go skateboard or like go ride a bike. And it's like, it's just like releasing that, like that energy, you know what I mean? Like that you have built up. And I think like having that, whether it be like painting or like writing like poems and shit or fucking making music or playing the guitar or even like I said, running and doing something else, playing a sport. It's
Skateboarding.
like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like do something, just get out, like exit that energy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like honestly, it's like, bro, in 20 years, you're going to be like 20, 30 years, you're going to be like, what, 40, 50 years old. And then nothing's going to matter because you're going to be an old grandparent. You're not going to be making like music really. So it's like,
Yeah.
do something now while you can.
Exactly. And like I'd say the worst thing for your mental state is not doing anything. Like
Exactly, man. Just like wasting away.
the busier you are, whether it's like your activities, your hobbies, like the things that you're into, like social life, the less time you have to like sit and think about the things that make you
Yeah,
unhappy. At
man.
least for me, like, yeah,
That's how I feel too.
I keep myself completely active and it like really helps me with all like the negative problems I'll have. Like I just keep working. Like I go to bed with only like 6 hours of sleep, having not finished everything I wanted to do. And the next day it's back at it again, like rushing to get all the things done that I want to do, which can be stressful, but it really helps me not have any time to be sad or like to sit inside of any kind of feeling.
That's how I am too, man. It's like I remember when I was like kind of first talking to Deathright and stuff, and I was like, like I realized 55 didn't have like a YouTube channel, and I was like, I have a YouTube channel we could use and stuff, and he was like, you sure? Like I don't want you to get be like overworked and stuff with your own music and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I have to stay busy. If I'm not busy, like I feel like I'm dwelling, bro. Like if I ain't making something, whether that be like a fucking AMV or like an edit or like something like a song or like tweaking this song or mixing someone's vocals or making a beat or like just playing a game or talking to someone. It's like, I can't just sit on my bed and like relax. Like some people, they're really normal and I think that they can relax. But for the most part, I just stay busy, busy, busy until I like go to bed. And then I wake up, like you said, and I just do it all again.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
I'm the same way. I can't relax unless I'm VCing with you
but
guys. Like I can't play a video game on my own. It's
like,
really
yeah, me
interesting.
neither, dude. And like I said, like I think a part of it is like I'm like, I'm like about to be 22 like in August and it's crazy. It's like I feel like I'll have more time to relax when I'm like I'm saying like 40, 50, you know? Like you can relax then, like that's how I be thinking. I'm like, fuck no, bro. I got to go on go mode right now, you know?
Go, 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 go. Yeah,
I'm trying to build a legacy.
gotta grind while you can, bro. We won't always be
Yeah,
this age, and I'm already
that's
getting
what I'm
old,
saying.
bro. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't always have time. Eventually, you're just gonna be like an old fucking sag of skin, and then you're gonna be like, I should have did more with my life. And it's like, well,
yeah,
you should have.
give it 4 or 5 years for me and Deathright, dude. No, we're 25 and 26. Like it's taken, it
Yeah, I
happens
mean,
fast.
that's what like burdens on me all the time. I'm like, damn, I'm 22, like, and I'm like, I need to do something now, or like I'm not 22 yet, but I'm about to be. Like I said, and I'm like, fuck, I got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's faster than you think too. Like I've been making
Man,
music
yeah,
for 10 years, so like it really is like it's like that went by in a blink. It's insane.
yeah, man, for
More than
sure. I
10 years,
felt that.
13 actually. It's just a joke. Like you forget
I,
the years. The years start to blend
yeah,
even.
I'm like, I mean, like if I'm going back to like the phone days before I had a laptop, it's probably like what, like 2014 or something. So that's like I can't even know. Like I'm terrible at math.
8
Like what, 8
years.
years? Yeah, I was about to say 8 years, which is crazy. But it's like I got my first laptop and started fucking around in Audacity and Mixcraft when I was like fucking 16. You know what I mean? So it's like crazy.
That is crazy. All right,
Yeah.
so we're already killing this interview. One of my last questions for you is there any suggestions you have for other artists struggling to get their start in music?
I feel like the biggest thing, like we were talking about with like the whole indie thing is like, it can be expensive being an indie artist. And this is something I was gonna bring up when we were talking about it. But I totally spaced it, so cool. But it was like, you know, because it's like you have to think like if you can't record yourself, right, then you have to pay for studio time. And then if you don't have a really cool friend that's gonna mix your shit, like you don't have a connection, then you gotta pay for, you know, like a mixing person. And then on top of that, you know, if you can't, let's say you can't find a free for profit beat, then you know what I mean? Or you're like 16 years old or something and you don't have a job or even younger, you know what I mean? We have a lot of young artists right now in the hyper pop scene, which is really cool. Like it's so dope. And if you can't like, you know, let's say afford a beat, you know, you're 13, you ain't got like 20 bucks to go buy a lease, even though it's really cheap or $10, you're a fucking kid. It's like I would suggest like first, like focus on like being able to do like as much as you can yourself. Like I was telling Deathright, the more you can check off of this checklist, like for being a musician that you can do, I think like the more of a threat you are. You know what I mean? In like a good way. You know, it's like I can produce, I can fucking, you know, do this, I can do that, I can mix. It's like I don't need anybody to mix my vocals. I don't need anybody to go master my song. I don't need, you know, like I might ask for help from friends in 55 and stuff like that, you know, on opinions and help and stuff. But it's like if you can actually still do it yourself, that's I think the best part, because sometimes you're not going to have a person to be able to do it, and it's like you really got to rely on yourself. I would definitely say don't get caught up in like having the best stuff though. Like you don't, when I say you need stuff, it's not like go and buy like, go drop 10,000 in studio equipment. It's kind of pointless. You could really get by with like really like minimal gear and stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out nowadays. And to be honest, you don't even need like a computer. I know a couple people like my buddy Lex Ren, LEXXREN. He's from like the UK, and he's like I think 17 now, and he makes all of his stuff on his like phone using Apple headphones and BandLab, and it sounds like really good. The first time I heard it, I like thought I used FL Studio or something. It was crazy. So like I think a big thing is like don't let any barrier like stop you. It's like, like when I first started making music, I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have these things, but I still made music. You know what I mean? I still wrote stuff, and I still just like, because the thing is like, a lot of people too always told me like, oh, like you're so good or something, like a lot of my friends and stuff. And it's like, well, you like spend most of your time like write one song and then you don't like it and then you move on for like a week, and it's like I write one song, don't like it, and then I write 4 more the same day. And then I like one, it's like do something, like we went back to like I think you have to really like push yourself, because it's like anything in life. Like if you get on a skateboard, you're not going to be able to just do an ollie. You're probably going to fall a couple times, but eventually you'll get like the motion and all that, and like what you got to do down, and then you'll land one, and then you'll land another one and another one. And then once you go to do a kickflip and try to get better, you might not land it first try, you might fail, and then you're going to and it's like the same way with music. It's like you got to like keep trying. Eventually you're going to fail, but you're never going to get good at anything if you just like allow yourself to fail once and then never fail again. Like don't be scared to fail either, because you have to fail. Like that's just the way life works. If you didn't fail, then you were never good.
And in the same, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. Keep going.
Yeah, the same way that like an ollie like leads to a kickflip, or they help each other, like learning all those different talents, like you speak about, like learning to mix and master,
exactly.
and like they all relate to each other, and like the more that you learn each of them, the more they help with each other, and like help you understand how to record in a way that's easier to mix, and like how to mix because you recorded, like all these different things.
Exactly. And the other thing too is I would say really like don't like, okay, like if you are like, okay, I think my vocals sound really similar to like so and so, and you really want to like try to do like a follow a preset or something. I mean, you could try it, you might get somewhere. I would definitely say though, just like follow the core fundamentals, solid EQ, solid compression, solid limiter, pitch correction, and some reverb. You like right there, like that's all you really need. And then from there on out, like add cool elements that you want, maybe some flanger, but it's like you really, and if you do find a preset that does like seem to work, like make sure you like tweak it for your vocals and shit, because it's like not every preset is gonna work, bro. Everyone has a different vocal range, everyone has a different vocal tone, everyone's room space is different, everyone's mic's different, everyone's like some person might have a lisp, everything. So it's like really like you like really craft something for you and your sound, because it's like also too, it's like if you're just trying to be break-ins or you're trying to be like somebody, like nobody's gonna listen to you because there already is Breakins who has a name for himself that's doing that music. So to be honest, you're just not gonna ever get anywhere. The people that get somewhere is like making something that like people want to hear because it's new, you know? So it's like make something that's refreshing, be able to like, be able to like do shit yourself and stuff. And also like make connections and shit. Dude, like don't be scared to like talk to people. Like I literally thought for like I've been making music for a long time, like we said, like 8 years, and it's like, and I've like for the longest, like just these past like 2 years has been where like I'm like comfortable like sharing music with people and shit. Like I used to just sit on so much music. I would like post stuff on SoundCloud, but I wouldn't even ever like promote it and stuff, It's kind of like just doing it myself, like for myself and shit. And it's like a lot of it wasn't like I I didn't want to promote. I was just like, I don't think my music's good enough. But even if it's not good enough right now, you're gonna get better next year and then next year. And I feel like the best thing is just to just like make connections. Because the more people you know, the better off you are too. Like, especially in like like in a scene, like an industry like this, where it's like, you gotta know people, because even if you can do stuff yourself, you can always learn more too. Like that's the dope thing. Like I said, even though I can go mix and do all this stuff, having these connections like with 55 makes me able to learn more or like come up with an idea that I wouldn't have done, myself, So it's really like nice to have connections. And like, dude, like we have so much stuff at our like disposal. Like most people have a phone or a computer. Like if you're listening to this, you're on one, you know what I mean? Or a fucking tablet. And it's like, go watch some YouTube videos, learn how to mix, learn how to do something in FL or like whatever program you're using.
FL Mobile, if you're stuck on a phone,
Yeah,
you can
bro,
literally
like, you
get
can
FL Mobile.
BandLab for free, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not a like just like you could do it. Like I'm like not even trying to be like that, but like my 6-year-old nephew, or yeah, like 6-year-old nephew, dude, does like beats on his phone. Yeah, I'm like, if you ain't doing something, I don't know what you're doing. I'm like,
You're holding yourself back, and I understand like the pressure of it, but you really shouldn't. Don't be afraid
No.
to make something bad. Just start, and it'll
Exactly.
get better.
That's my point, because every person started with something like terrible or the worst thing that they've made. Because the thing is, you have to make the worst thing you've made in order to be able to make the best thing you've made.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what growth literally is. Without the bad thing, you wouldn't have gotten better.
No, exactly. It's like if you're scared to be bad, then you're never gonna be great, and you don't want to be great. You have to be bad to be great. That's just the way it works. You
Literally.
can't be scared of failure.
Yeah, it reminds me of skateboarding, like we talked about earlier. Nobody just ollied right away. It's impossible.
No.
You have to fall. No. And with music, the falling doesn't even hurt. Like it might emotionally be weird, but.
And what's more annoying is like, I've always had friends like trying to like tell them like, like similar things like this. And it's like, dude, you can go record 5 songs today. Like you have your own, like if like I know friends that have their own setup or whatever, like back in the past and stuff. I remember back in like middle school, I knew this one kid, right? And he had his own setup and stuff. And he always would be like, oh, you're so good, like da da da. And I like, like I would always try to like help him out and stuff. But he would he would just be like, well, like everything I record is bad. And I'm like, but everything you record, you don't have to post. Nobody even has to hear it. You could go do 1,000 bad takes right now. And I mean, like the most people that are going to hear it is like the people that you live with. If you live with anybody, like fuck them too.
Exactly.
Just do some bad takes, dude. And then like make 1,000 bad songs if that's what it takes. Eventually you're going to make one that you're actually like, damn, this is kind of catchy. This is kind of cool. And you just got to like, you got to work. And the thing too is like most people don't look at music as a job. Like if you're wanting to like actually like go into the industry as like being famous or something, like that's a full-on job. So like if you're not wanting to like work or something, you're like, I'm gonna get famous and make music because I'm lazy or something. It's like it's not gonna work like that, because somebody's gonna surpass you. There's motherfuckers making albums like every month. So you gotta keep
6-year-olds making beats.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. I feel like we knocked that out of the park. Can you let everyone know what your socials are and where they can find you, and like if you want to shout out any upcoming songs you have or any drops you're planning?
All the socials are, SilentCxbin with the X is the A for cabin. So, everything, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, every platform, for music that you could think of, Deezer, Spotify, everything SilentCxbin with the X as the A. And other than that, for future drops, I do have a song coming probably called Menthol, and then I might have a couple more coming. No names or nothing yet. Just some work things.
No sneak peeks. No previews.
I do have this one. It's getting worked on right now. I'll talk about a little bit. It's just called Trash Talk. So that one's pretty cool too. It's gonna be some like pop punky, like electric guitar heavier shit, but I might like hyper pop the fuck out of it. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and just other than that, shout out to 55 Depths, the whole channel, the YouTube, everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
shouts out to Tigerstar for helping to organize these interviews and setting this all up for us. She's super fucking
yeah,
awesome.
big shout out Tiger.
She's got her own Zine coming, like a little digital magazine. It's going to be full of like a transcribe of this interview as well as others and a bunch of her content. So super excited for that.
That will be tight. Look out for that for sure.
All right, awesome. Thanks for coming in, and everybody have a good day. So much love to everybody.
Bye.
Bye.